Daihatsu Mazda MX-5 Cup, presented by BF Goodrich on IMSA Radio.
Beautiful sunshine here at Daytona International Speedway for the second of two races to kick off the Daihatsu Mazda MX-5 Challenge Cup, presented by BF Goodrich tyres. We're just a couple of miles or so off the beach in the Intercoastal Waterway at the spiritual home of endurance racing here in this part of the world. It was an endurance race that opened this facility way back down through the years when racing on the beach was outlawed because it was causing too much noise and people were complaining. Hey? Turn one takes you into the International Horseshoe, and through the kink it's 3.5 miles and 12 corners around the circuit. We know very well, of course, the big banked ends, either ends at the west and eastern ends of the speedway, and that will be used here. And the draft is strong with these MX-5 races. John Hindhaugh and Shea Adam from IMSA Radio and Radio Le Mans alongside you, alongside me this morning up on the fifth floor, looking down on a packed grid. We won't get everybody starting. We'll give you that news in a moment. But Shea, what a race that we saw yesterday here on the high banks.
Yes, it was. Race one got off to a very clean start, going 5 wide into turn one, and somehow miraculously everyone survived. But it was Connor Zilic who ran away with the lead for Hicks Motorsport and kept it for the majority of the race.
It wasn't all plain sailing. Later on in the race, out with the 55, one of our rookies this year, and then a big moment.
That was Ethan Tyler going for a ride at the exit of the bus stop. He did manage to recover and kept it on the track for the rest of the race. Another scary moment later on for Matthew Dirks. That contact resulted in him going spinning into turn one.
And then Cicero getting looked at by race control. The usual pack finish. Watch the low side of the screen as we had 4 wide, and .015 was the tiny margin. Tyler Gonzalez in the 51 Copeland car taking the win.
They really need to try harder today, though. That was only tied for the 4th closest finish in series history, so not even making the podium. Guys, we're at Daytona. Let's put on a show today.
Expecting to see exactly that as we look at the Mazda grid for race 2 here at Daytona. Sam Paley in pole position, courtesy of the fastest lap in the race yesterday. That was quicker than his qualifying time in the single 15-minute qualifying session. He'll have former series champion Gresham Wagner alongside him. Then it's Connor Zilic and Tyler Gonzalez. Yesterday's winner, Max Rapolsky, had a bit of an up and down day yesterday, but ran at the front. Thomas Annunziata, one of the scholarship recipients from the shootout, he's in a very impressive 6th position ahead of Aaron Johnson, who's changed the colour of his car this year. Don't look for a red car, it's blue 24 this year, and he's moved to JTR. Glenn McGee is next up, then Jared Thomas, the defending champion. No one has won 2 championships. No one has won them back-to-back clearly either. Brianna Zelensky, who led a lap yesterday as the race was coming down to its closing stages. He's the second of the rookies ahead of John Jourdain, Celine Roland, Nate Cicero, another rookie and scholarship recipient. Bryce Cornet, Jeremy Fletcher is the 4th of our rookies this year. Alex Batura was making his way up gently through the field when he had a problem yesterday. Robert Noaker running as a singleton driver and running his own car. Yes, there is still room for that to happen here in this championship, and long may that continue. Woody Hyman, Anthony McIntosh, Matthew Dirks in the Army drab khaki coloured car, Hernan Palermo, Lama Farmer, and then Stephen Clemens, the rookie, James Hayosh, Jonathan Newdorf in the 55, who had that moment at turn 1 yesterday, Heather Hadley, Ethan Taylor, Welter back Peter Atwater, Zane Hodgins at the back of the grids.
And rounding out the grid, Hannah Zellers in that spot number 29, but keep an eye if she pulls into the pit lane after the first lap. You cannot come into the pit lane as the cars are coming to the green flag, but if she pulls in after that first lap, it is planned by the team.
2 by 2 on the banking. We may see this through the rest of the race. Into the twilight yesterday, in the bright sunlight today as we kick off Fast Friday. as we head towards the 61st running of the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona. It's Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. Green flag is in the air and we're racing. Good clean start from the front row. Sam Paley in the red car on the double yellow line. Here's Gresham Wagner with the orange hood, the orange bonnet going round the outside. Oh, there's one of our rookies. That is Bruno Smolensky going slightly wide, but he's managing to get through. 3 wide through turn 3 on the first lap. Are you mad, guys? Come on, take it easy. What am I saying? It's Mazda MX-5. This is exactly what we expect through the International Horseshoe for the first time. Heading towards the King and still side by side coming out of the International Horseshoe. It's Paley that leads, barely. And there's been an incident further back down the field. Is that Tyler Gonzalez?
It's Ethan Tyler for sure. Tyler Gonzalez is up in 4th, I believe. It's the 81.
Excuse me,
so
81.
Jim Hayosh, very good drive yesterday from that rookie driver, but unfortunately not going as well today. Both cars able to continue.
Off the grass on the infield, they're going to be a long way back, and you can be 4 or 5 seconds slower if you don't have a drafting partner. The main field heads on to Speedway turn number 1 for the first time of asking, and just outside or towards the bottom end of the top 10, we're still running side by side.
We've got Sam Paley in the lead, Connor Zilic in 2nd. Gresham Wagner has now dropped back to 4th because yesterday's winner Tyler Gonzalez is up in 3rd, and then in 5th it is the watermelon car. That's Celine Roland, who did not have a great race yesterday. He's not wasting any time today to get to the front of the pack.
Shea Adam and John Hindhaugh with you as they head to the Le Mans chicane for the first time. Sam Paley then in that red number 28. Top 3 pulling away. We've seen this before. Now, little bit of contact early on. Oh, that was good.
Hip check.
Well, I think that was 3 into 2. Didn't go. There was another car on the left-hand side as they came out of the International Horseshoe, and there goes the coming out of the chicane for the first time. That is the number 5, Gresham Wagner. So that's how he dropped. And then there was contact as he rejoined. So he's rubbed a little paint as well. Looks like he might have knocked off the right-hand door mirror across the line. That was lap 1, ladies and gentlemen. Can I just say that? That was lap 1.
There's a lot more where that came from.
Oh, yes. That was fairly tame by Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 standard. Sam Paley then leads out. The top 3 with maybe 5 car lengths between them. That will not stay like that if they start fighting. We saw this yesterday. We've seen it now for 2 seasons. Side by side again. Last year's champion in the red number 96 with the yellow rollover cage, and Bruno Smolensky, the Brazilian rookie in the Brazilian flag colours, the green and yellow, down at the west end of the infield. He's been left on the left-hand side. Right in there as well is Nate Cicero, another one of the rookies, so they're now battling together. That 83 red car, Soul Red, the most popular colour for Mazda street cars, and for quite some time it signified drivers who had either been champions or who had been in receipt of the scholarships, and still see a lot of red cars here. I noticed that Jared Thomas has gone to a satin red version of that colour rather than Sam Paley, who has the shiny red. Still early moments here. Yes, there's plenty of action. I'm actually a little bit surprised that the lead 3 have pulled quite as far away, but these are experienced drivers, and we've taught them in the past. Paley, Zilic and Gonzalez, they work together now, Shea. They might be able to break away in the next 10-15 minutes and basically then fight for the win amongst themselves.
The problem for them right now, John, is that Tyler Gonzalez, who's running last in that pack, and by last I mean 3rd, which is a phenomenal position to be in, wants the guy in 4th to catch up to him because his teammate, Max Opalski, is currently running in the 4th position. 2 cars work a lot better than 1 going round and round, and he realizes he's got a chance to get to the front so long as Max can move up, but Max has dropped back. He's back to 11th now.
Opalski, yes, in that green car with problems, and he's lost ground. We talk about teammates there. That's the the point that Shea is making. We have Macumbi McAleer Racing, Hickson Motorsport and Copeland Motorsport, then 2 more Hickson cars, then 2 more JTRs. So all of these super teams were practicing drafting side by side again with Bruno Spalewski coming out of the International Horseshoe in that yellow and green car, and once again he's side by side with a rookie contender. I think these two are going to be battling all season. Nate Cicero in the number 83 will get the inside line going into the left-hander, closes up on the 96 of Jared Thomas. Right in there is Max Opalski. That's where he's dropped down to, that little battle.
Coming out of the Western Horseshoe. And John, it should be noted, you don't have to work with your teammate in order to get to the front. It just helps. Yesterday, the top 5 cars were from 5 different teams. That, in and of itself, is a remarkable stat. And we do have Ethan Tyler on the pit lane. Incident responsibility for that crash with Jim Hayosh on lap 1. Drive-through penalty, so that'll drop Ethan way back down the field. He's going to need a caution to have any hope of not being lapped during the course of this race.
And what Shea is saying there is that without a draft, we saw this in qualifying, Singleton cars in qualifying, up to 4 seconds on a 2-minute and 7, 2-minute and 8 seconds lap. 4 seconds slower if you're not in the slipstream in the draft.
The lead pack are doing 2 minutes 7.8, whereas Jim Hayosh, who's dropped down to the back, 2:12.4. That gives you your indication.
Alex Batura with the fastest lap of the race, 2:07.502. That was on his second lap, so he's working his way through the field again.
As he so frequently does.
Yes. He was very, very impressive racing last year. Now, second group of cars led by
Aaron Johnson.
In fact, actually, that's kind of the third. No, that is the second group of cars, but he's just lost out of position there. Down into corner number 1. We're gonna get this situation that we had yesterday, Shea. The leading 3 are out in front and have about a second and a half on the next group of cars. But that is a big group. It's 7 or 8 groups that cars grouped together. And if they stop fighting for a moment, it'll only take them half a lap to a lap to close that 1.5 seconds.
When you're pushing a lot of air by yourself, obviously it slows you down, as we were just talking about running solo versus running in a pack. When you're in the pack, you move the air for them, making it easier for them to go faster, and they push you, making it easier for you to go faster. So this drafting in these Mazda Cup cars, it teaches you perfectly what you need to know in order to race well, not only here at Daytona International Speedway, but at all the venues we go to across the course of the season. And there are 7 different racetracks that this series gets to visit this season.
Gresham Wagner, you're not allowed to have car-to-car communication, so that's done with old-fashioned hand signals, and that's what Gresham Wagner's doing to the cars behind him, basically saying, guys, come on, we are going, if we're not going to get together, we won't be able to catch up those leading 3. We are ceding ground to those guys at the front. Jeremy Fletcher is the rookie in behind him, and he's taken that advice, and he's right on the bumper of the 5 of Gresham Wagner, a former series champion, of course, who's come back again 2 years ago since he took the big check, and he's back again. Do have to be a little bit careful about how much contact and how long the contact is when you are bump drafting, particularly on the high banks.
Yes, and isn't it wonderful to see drivers like Gresham Wagner, like Celine Roland, taking these little ducklings who are new to the series under their wings and teaching them, this is how you dance, this is how you do well in the series. Trust me, I've won it, I've been 3rd, I've been 4th, whoever the driver is, that's how this works.
Sam Paley still leads across the line, still by that 0.060 of a second. The top 3 have been closed down on a wee bit. It's only a second now, back to the chasing pack. And that is Aaron Johnson and Jared Thomas, very experienced drivers, and 2 JTR teammates, of course, who are working together to pull in this top 3. They're nearly there, and they're dragging Celine Roland with them as well, who's got past Bruno Spalewski since they crossed the line at the completion of the 4th lap. And we are only 10 minutes into a 45-minute race.
Bruno and Celine, teammates as well for Hickson Motorsports, so we've got a couple of different trains working together. Connor Zillage will be happy to see his Hickson Racing brethren up at the front of the field with him, or will he? No, I don't think he wants more competition.
The screaming four-cylinder, 2-litre, normally aspirated Mazda engines. And a couple of people saying yesterday just how loud these cars are. I don't think individually they're actually quite as loud as that, but the fact that the pack is so close all the way through tends to amplify the sound. So we get no sound, no sounds, no sound, lots of sound. Angry Hornets, somebody described them as yesterday, who was watching from further afield than here at Daytona International Speedway.
Have you ever seen any other kind of Hornet? They're always angry.
Well, true enough.
These Mazdas are smiling at least.
Yes, they are.
Very happy grill.
Very happy face on the front of these cars. They come into the US from Japan to the brothers Fliss, who are based here in Daytona, actually, not too far away from where we're watching the racing going. They are absolutely stock standard street cars when they arrive. The engine is taken out, sealed and put to one side, and then basically the car is stripped down to its shell. It has an FIA roll caged in, it's painted white, that's the standard colour. Other colours are available by option, of course. And somewhere in the region of 250 bespoke racing parts are bolted into these cars, including the FIA roll cage and fire suppression system, the SADEV sequential gearbox, which is a flat shape up and an auto blip on the way down. Very clever stuff in these race cars. Do not call these cars entry-level race cars. In terms of the budget, potentially 150,000 to run the car for the season with one of the big teams. But bear in mind, you can win 225,000 if you win the championship. The car
50.
250. Yeah, 250. Excuse me.
And the prize money for winning races now too.
Yeah. Sam Paley is looking to bank $6,000. He's in that position at the moment, and he's told us that he needs the prize money from this weekend to be able to move forward to Sebring.
To St. Pete.
To St. Pete, excuse me, staying in Florida in about a month's time, a little bit over that. Supporting the IndyCar race on the streets of St. Pete. Always exciting racing down there because of that long straight that forms part of the airport. And so we wish Sam the best here. So Paley ahead. There is another couple of cars in behind him, I promise you.
And now it's Aaron John Salmon third because he's gotten around Tyler Gonzalez. Jared Thomas is still at fifth now, sizing up the back of Gonzalez, who's trying to push John Salmon back to the front. Gonzalez knows how to win this race. He's won it 2 times out of the last 3.
Paley's been left on the bottom of the racetrack, and 4 cars will draft by him here. He started this lap in first. He'll finish it in 5th position, and he didn't get up underneath the back of the 96 JTR machine of Jared Thomas. What's he lost there? 10 cars lengths it must have been as the top 4 come across the line.
Ooh.
This time around it'll be Connor Zilic, our pole sitter from yesterday, and the man who finished second with a big run to the line. Now 4 wide across the line. This is looking a bit
Paley's got around.
Going round. That is Max Opalski who's got around, being pushed in the side as we had 4 wide coming down into the first corner in the second group. Bruno Smilewski was right in there. Paley had already spun from the original group, and he's now down there as well with the number 85. So the lead group come across the line. The second group of 5 go 4 wide. Smilewski comes down the inside. Paley gets squeezed in the middle with Max Opalski.
How did they both catch it?
I have no clue.
Yeah, Bruno
Tokyo Drift
goes to the inside of Paley, pushes Paley into Opalski. Both of those 2 drivers wound up spinning but not hitting anything and recovering it nicely. But that was all effect of Sam Paley getting left out of the draft.
See, there wasn't a touch originally. Nope. It was Paley who moved across on Opalski. Smilewski was coming down the inside. That was secondary contact as Sam bounced off Max. So the Brazilian down the inside may have been the reason for Sam moving up, but there was no initial contact there between the Brazilian and Sam Paley.
He scared Paley, in essence.
I don't think
I'm here.
I don't think Sam Paley scares that easily. At the front of the field, it's Aaron Johnson now from Tyler Gonzalez, from Jared Thomas as they go through. the incident, race control on our Alcabel timing screens here. Incident involving car 228, etc. at turn 1 under review. That right there, take a picture of that. That absolutely embodies Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. Even the timing and scoring and race control know just how much is going on out there on the circuit. So a big gap now, Shea. That gap's opened up to over 2 seconds between the leading quartet, who are in turn 1 now, led by Aaron Johnson, Tyler Gonzalez, JTR's JT, Jared Thomas, and at the back of that is Connor Zilic. We know Connor's got a quick car. The second group, a recovering Sam Paley in the number 2 car, who got, along with Max Opalski, was actually facing the inside wall there going into turn 1. No clue how they got them. Remember, these are rear drive cars. These aren't front wheel drive cars where you nail the throttle and the front pulls you round. Outstanding car control by those 2 young drivers. So it's Paley from Opalski, and then Smilewski is right on the tail. So it's 4, then 3, then another 3, and then everyone else is basically following around from just in the early teens. And as soon as anybody starts fighting, those gaps will close up. We've only had a third of this race.
And in keeping with tradition at racing at Daytona International Speedway for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup, a different driver in a different car has put down the fastest lap every single lap of the race. Right now, the record is going the way of Bryce Cornier in car number 65, but it was a different story earlier on. It's been Max Opalski, it's been Connor Zilic, it's been Celine Roland. We've had, what, 7 laps now and 7 different lap leaders, so it's been fantastic.
There are points for fastest lap and most laps led, which can affect the championship.
And both are still wide open at this point, John. We haven't had anyone who's led the most laps in essence because it's been so many different drivers. Max Opalski has been given warning.
Right, interesting.
Yeah.
Max Opalski, who was the man on the outside of that trio that came together at turn 1. Everyone survived. Incident responsibility, but only a warning. That suggests to me that race control are saying, yeah, it was probably a little bit more towards him, but also clearly a racing incident as 3 are trying to get into turn 1 together.
Wouldn't that be race control looking at where Opalski placed his car, saying he could have left a little bit more room for the 2 down the inside? Great
analysis, Shay. IMSA racing very much is, you've got to give racing room. You shouldn't be squeezing people. Opalski is now on the outside coming out of the International Horseshoe in another pack of cars. That's the 3rd pack of cars on the racetrack, which at the moment is being led by Connor Zilic.
Oh, Nate Cicero has come to play. He just made a move on the outside of Opalski, going through the king, and he's brought with him Celine Roland, and Bruno Schmilewski is looking to move up even further as well.
Schmilewski comes out of Brazil, which is why the car is in the colours of the Brazilian flag, green and yellow. Rookie. He's not necessarily here to make friends. He's here to win races and win that rookie £80,000 end of season check. And he's been quite boisterous in some of the early sessions. I thought he raced well yesterday.
He did.
And certainly not at fault for that incident down at turn 1. He had to run down the inside. At the front of the field, Aaron Johnson then in the dark blue Mazda with the white sill decals. That's the JTR car from Copeland, the 51. Yesterday's winner came from 2nd place on the last lap. I did think Paley had it yesterday. I really did.
So did he.
Yeah, I think he did. But just brilliant timing from Tyler Gonzalez of when to pull out. I thought he'd left it too late. It was perfect timing. Paley didn't even get 2nd, of course.
Paley's now got Connor Zilic and Nate Cicero right on his bumper, and then Celine Roland. So that 2nd group, I was going to say how far back they were, John. They're not far back anymore.
They were over 2 seconds back. They're now down to 1.3, and it's sort of coming together. Smolewski just a little bit further back down the field. Heads third group, big dent in the left-hand side of the number 83 Mazda of Nate Cicero, just on the door. Oh, that's the 85 car. That is Smolewski.
That's Bruno. I just saw him slowing down as he was coming through the International Horseshoe, and then he pulled immediately over as far as he could to driver's left, trying to get out of the line of fire. Unfortunately, he's still sort of in a dangerous position.
If he has got drive and can get reverse, he can get that car out of the way. If not, we might see the intervention of the Mazda MX-5 safety car for the first time in the 2023 season. Race control, though, they've got a couple of minutes before the leaders come back around, so they're going to give Bruno a chance to get that car either refired or off the circuit.
And the safety vehicles are immediately behind him, maybe 100 feet, not even a football field, really.
They won't come out from behind the wall until instructed to do so by race control.
They could go now.
No, they won't do live snatch. It's just not the way, because if that car then is stuck in gear, they would be exposed. So I'm expecting, if that car doesn't move within the next 10 seconds or so, coming onto the tri-oval, when the leaders are coming onto the tri-oval, that car hasn't moved, we may see a yellow flag, and there it is. There it is, the first of the 2023 season. So this is great news for drivers at the back of the field who have had problems earlier on. Double yellows are out. First safety car intervention of the 2023 Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup, presented by BF Goodrich Tyres, and it's Bruno Smolewski, who was battling for the lead in the Rookie Championship. The irony is that the safety car is deployed from exactly where Bruno is, and will pick up the cars. The intervention AMR IMSA rapid response vehicle, the Porsche Cayenne, is there. The wrecker truck is there as well. This will be a quick recovery. We might be able to get back to green flag within a lap. There's no wave bys or pass arounds required. Excellent work. The field are only just getting to that area,
and already Bruno is being tugged backwards.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think we might be able to go green very quickly here. 22.5 minutes to go, halfway through the second race of the season. We're under yellow at Daytona International Speedway in the Mazda MX-5 Cup. And we get to take a slight breather here, unusually. Yesterday, I don't think I took a full breath from the start to the end of the race.
Safety car appreciation moment?
Oh, yes.
It's so beautiful.
It is.
It's got that Idemitsu livery on it that I just love. It was great from the Mazda DPI days.
Well, great crowd here today, getting ready for the weekend. Whilst we have the opportunity, and really have to say a very big thank you to our replay team in Charlotte. I know it's all digital now, but the ladies and gentlemen there, I hope you take it in the spirit that it's offered when I say thank you to the tape apes. It's the traditional name for our replay team. Jake Wagner and the rest of the ladies and gentlemen up there giving us some great views yesterday and today of the close racing in Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup. Those of you away from the circuit who make an appointment to watch the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup when we're on track, I'm sure will appreciate the hard work that goes in by all of our production staff and of course our camera operators here at the circuit. It's nice and sunny here today, but it's not always the case, and we simply could not bring you this great action without the whole team.
Should be lights out on the safety car.
I can't tell, Shea,
it's too
because
sunny.
of the it's never too sunny because of the sunshine.
Let's see, is the safety car diving down below the double yellows? Yes, it is.
It's going to be quite a quick restart, actually. The safety car was bringing them around at a decent clip, and we will go back green. Brilliant work from race control and the recovery crews. And here comes Aaron Johnson. we've only spent one lap under the control of the MX-5 safety car round the outside. Connor Zilic tries to make the move. He's up on the door panel of Jared Thomas, but down the inside, Sam Paley's right there as well. 3 wide through turns 1 and 2 for the moment, and still 2 wide as we go down to the International Horseshoe. Zilic down the inside with the green, the first of the 2 green striped cars. Paley in the red number 28, just getting hung out a little bit. Johnson, Gonzalez, Thomas, Paley just about hanging on there.
Yeah, Paley's not backing out of this. He's going to go 2 wide with Zilic through the kink. He's got the preferred line coming into the international, to the Western Horseshoe, but Zilic making it work on the inside.
Now Sam's got to be careful that he does not get passed by a couple of cars with Celine Roland trying to follow Connor Zilic through in a similar coloured car. Yeah, the red car's positioned between those 2 Hickson's teammates. And there was no quarter Astor given there, side by side through the kink. And these, it's not easy flat through there. It's not flat at all. And behind, just to prove, thank you for proving my point. Is that Matthew Dirks?
No, it's 22, so that would be Jeremy Fletcher.
Jeremy Fletcher.
See, he didn't know.
And there was a coming together at turn 6 going onto the high banks last time around.
Bryce Cornet, and he's still there, John.
That's the 65 Mazda. He got quite a hit there. He's facing the wrong direction. Yellows breed yellows. The pack brought together. There's damage to that car and some debris on the track. The leaders are still racing. Now, we've seen races won in the past before the yellow flags come out, trying to make the maneuvers on the high banks. Gonzalez in second, Thomas in third, all behind Aaron Johnson. Sam Paley leads the chasing pack. He's got a good run. Paley's got a decent run. Here comes the high line train. Now, is that the right line to be on? That's the question. Johnson on the inside leads them to the line.
Bryce Cornet is still there.
At turn 6, expects the safety car anytime now, if it's coming. Oh, well, maybe it's not coming.
Oh my goodness, Zilic and Celine Roland go side by side, team cars nearly taking each other out, and instead both of them getting past Jared Thomas.
Well, they've just gone past the area where the safety car would have picked them up. We can still go double yellow, of course, to slow them down. He's moving.
Cornet is moving. We stay green.
Brilliant call by race control. Undoubtedly, they were talking to the team, and the team was talking to their driver. That is absolutely wonderful officiating from race control. There is the flag for debris on the track. It's the yellow and red stripe car flag. Often for fluids on the track, there's a little bit of Mazda under tray, I think, there on the exit of turn 6. That yellow and red flag, often called slippery surface flag, but my corner worker and marshalling friends always remind me it is for alien objects or fluids on the track. So if it's something that shouldn't be on the track that is there, that's when that flag comes out. They tell me in slightly more colourful language that rhymes, but I really like this job, so I'll just say things that are on the track that shouldn't be.
That's fair. We're close to Kennedy Space Center, so there could be aliens around.
Yes, absolutely.
Still John Somm leading out of the Le Mans chicane, being pushed by Tyler Gonzalez again after his success from recent races at Daytona International Speedway. I would not want Tyler Gonzalez anywhere near me, pushing or otherwise.
Here comes the number 72, Connor Zilic, getting back onto the end of that 5-car train. So that's 2 JTR cars.
2 Hickson.
2 Hickson and a Copeland. The single Copeland car. Here comes Hickson round the outside in the shape of the 87 of Celine Roland, trying to go up into second place, and Gonzalez lets him go there. He braked early. Incident involving car 65, Bryce Cornet, and unknown under review. We're getting all of the messages this morning on the screen. You can follow along on live timing, by the way.
results.imsa.com and then click on the live timing tab. It'll give you all the information that we're getting, sector times, interval times.
And the dancing ants.
And the dancing ants.
If you can pick out the individual car numbers on the dancing ants, you'll need to have a 75-inch screen and have it spread out, because in MX-5 Cup racing, it's just one big blob of numbers.
It's one giant ant.
That's right.
But it's still dancing.
It is. It's more like a caterpillar than an ant, actually.
Yes.
They're all together. What are we down to now? 15 minutes coming into the last third. And still this 5 in about a second or so, maybe 2 seconds on Sam Paley. So Sam Paley has come to the lead of the second group. He's got Glenn McGee, rookie Nate Cicero, Max Opalski, Robert Noecker. What a run for Robert Noecker in the Singleton-ended car. He's just on the outskirts of the top 10. Then Gresham Wagner. They're all trying to work together. Wagner just trying to get onto the back of that second group. They are coming. They are coming. It is definitely not a second now as it was when they went over the line.
Thank you to our friends at NASCAR Productions for the demonstration of what the dancing ants look like, because it's kind of fun for people at home, if you're near a video screen, to get an opportunity to see just how chaotic it is in this championship, as 5 dancing ants all close together at the head of the field.
Now, and there's been an incident on the back stretch.
Oh, that's Heather Hadley.
It's Heather Hadley.
And Jeremy Fletcher, 2 of our rookies.
And that, I think, will bring out
yes, indeed,
the full course yellow. That is
the exit of the Le Mans chicane.
Correct.
Just a little bit further down, still by the Rolex banner. Not quite at a turn.
They've got out of the corner and then come together. They're up on the wall on driver's right. The safety car will be coming out.
13 involved as well, John. That would be Robert Noecker.
I was going to say that was Robert Noecker. He was way up the field though, surely, from them. So that might be a separate incident. He spun first, and in avoidance, the other 2 cars go off, and he's got a left rear puncture. Now, was that cause or effect? So then there was people trying to avoid, and that's when the secondary contact. In fact, it looked like there was a 3rd car involved. Yes, Noecker was down on the low side, and people trying to go to driver's right to avoid him. He had a complete 360 as he came on the exit of the chicane. I think that tyre gave up as he turned in, because that was a really snap sideways. Then a big moment for the 2 cars following as they tried to avoid him.
He had taken a lot of curb, but that was on the right side, John, so it doesn't make sense as to it being an effect.
Noecker's not out of this yet, because we're under caution.
Yep.
They can change that wheel and tyre.
And when you do come down to the pit lane, you are allowed 3 team members over the wall to touch the car during your quote-unquote pit stop, because, of course, we don't have pit stops. This is just a sprint race, but they are allowed to service the car. 3 people.
Ethan Tyler was already in the pit lane from earlier on, and Bryce Cornet as well came in on lap 12, so a couple of laps ago.
And once again, our fastest lap has changed away. Bryce Cornet held on to it for a little while because of the yellow, but now it's in the hands of another first-timer for today's race, Gresham Wagner.
Very experienced driver there. So with just under 12 minutes to go, our second intervention for the MX-5 safety car team. And they bring the car past the site of the incident between Heather Hadley and Jeremy Fletcher. I think we've got to say that both of those drivers were avoiding the spinning and very slow car of
Robert Noecker.
Robert Noecker, thank you.
And the big plume of dust that was kicked up, the white smoke from the spinning car, visibility was at a minimal.
He's got out without losing a lap.
Yep, he's going again.
Now,
just a quick shout out to BF Goodrich, because the fastest lap being set on lap 14, yes, the fuel is burning off, but the tires are also burning off too.
Yeah.
Clearly they're strong enough to hold up to put in a lap time that was faster than our pole time yesterday.
Good to see both drivers, Heather out of her car, and we already had Jeremy Fletcher out of the Copeland machine. Contact with the wall, or the safer barrier, should I say, on the exit of the Le Mans chicane for Heather. So there is a little damage on the front, plus the right-hand side door where Jeremy picked that car up. Again, got to be said, no blame attached to either of those drivers. They did what they had to do in avoiding this slower car. Both rookies. You have a split second to make that decision. That is an exceptionally quick area of the course. The white car spins, and that is no acre, and the two cars following behind with literally nowhere to go other than nail that car. Robert does really well, and then we also had, here's the bright blue car that was off on the infield as well.
Oh.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate.
Yeah. Could have been anyone.
Could have happened to anyone, absolutely.
Yep, no action taken, rightly from race control.
Well, yes, I mean, definition of a racing incident there.
Yep. Just under 10 minutes left in this race. Currently leading the race, yesterday's winner, Tyler Gonzalez. Tyler's going, nope, there's fluid on the track. It's not good. We can't go back to racing. Jerry Thomas, meanwhile, in second is going, yeah, one lap shootout. That's all I need. Jared, who started his championship winning campaign here last year by winning the second race of the weekend, puts himself in a very good position to try and replicate that, to try and become our first ever two-time champion.
It's all going to come down to how easy it is to move those cars and whether they'll flat tow. There is a rollback, a flatbed truck there, so we can winch those cars, or at least one of those cars, onto it. However,
Heather's car is rolling away.
Is
reluctantly.
Yes, it's being towed away by one of our IMSA safety vehicles. So if we can get that onto the infield, that's good news. So that did move of its on its own. Didn't need a pickup. So what about Jeremy's car? Also having a look at the safer barrier wall out there, because of course that has to still have its integrity before we can go racing. Here come the field, going past that area. Heather's car now on the grass of the infield.
Looked a bit like pulling a reluctant dog in a direction it didn't want to go. With the toe.
Squirrel.
Yep.
No, this way.
Nope.
Come on, son, this way.
Come on, Mocha. We're not going over there.
Yes.
Yes. Heather's steering lock was still pointed toward the right. That's why the car was skipping in a direction didn't quite want to go, but should be okay. Now the rest of the cars are out of there. The tow truck, in essence, because it doesn't have a flatbed, is now rolling into position to try and grab at Jeremy's car. Big damage to the right side of Heather Hadley's car.
I see what they've done. They've pulled Heather's car to the infield so that the flatbed can get unrestricted access even when the field comes through. Smart. Whereas they feel that Jeremy's car might just take a front lift and then be out of there. That's very clever. Great analysis of the situation, almost a sort of triage situation with the cars. What do we need to do? How can we move them as quick as possible? There is some fluid on the track underneath Jeremy Fletcher's car.
Our safety crew is knocking it out of the park this week.
Absolutely. Into the pits, Thomas Annunziata. Now, this is not a penalty as the number 10 comes down the pit lane.
That's another one of the Hickson Motorsports cars, John.
They are pitted at pit out, so he's just gone past the Rolex cut through in the arch, and he is pulling over towards his pits. Is he going to slip a couple of slightly less used tyres on that car? I think, one tyre. So now, does he feel he maybe has a puncture? No internal jacks on these cars, so you get the old trolley jack out. This is a bit of a NASCAR style. They're having a look there to see if the tyre is going down. It's the right rear they were looking at.
Nope, they decided the right ones are okay. Now they're checking the pressures on the left side. Maybe they're just dropping the pressures a bit. Give him a shot at a one-lap dash, get the 10 bonus points for the fastest lap.
Now they're jacking up the left-hand side, so there must be an issue there. Driver obviously felt something. We do have pits to car to pits radio. Great recovery on Heather Hadley's car. The right rear suspension damage on that car, that's why it wouldn't tow, but it's on the back of the flatbed. I think we're going to get 2 laps here.
Yep. our safety trucks are moving. Jeremy Fletcher's car, with the aid of the tow straps and the front wheels well off the ground, is being moved back behind the wall.
That is out of harm's way now.
Yeah.
So it's now just a case of how quickly we can clean up the fluid, and we've already got a jet dryer and oil dry truck there, and that is backing out the way as well. So if we see a few puffs of dust coming up there, that is not the racing line there, because they were a long way out of the corner, and generally you stay coming out of the Le Mans chicane, you stay down low in these Mazdas, and that is probably 3 cars widths up the track. So only if somebody's pulling out very, very early. Here comes the field.
The track cleaner has moved off of the surface. We've got the rollback still there, working on Heather Hadley's car, but we might be able to go back to green.
If that truck, we haven't quite got the rollback back into its drive away position. Yes, we have now.
Yeah.
We have now.
Oh, here we go. It's moving up into position. The safety crew is running around, the AMR safety crew. Best in the biz, these men and women who keep us safe week in and week out, putting the ramp back in place. We're ready to roll.
Watch the lights on the front of the Mazda MX-5 safety car.
They're not grouped up yet, John. That's the only thing.
One more lap, I think.
One more lap.
Which means we will probably get a single lap shootout, possibly 2.
We're gonna have 30 seconds left. They've been running lap times of 3.5 minutes. We have 4 minutes to go left in this race.
Let's see. Safety car may well pick up speed here.
This is a dash for the cash.
It is the dash for cash, and we can say that and mean it this time, not just for the points. So the safety car driver now being told by race control, right, get your foot down, we can't be going around here all day.
We gave you a cup car, we just put lights on it and a roof. Come on, show these boys how it works.
It will be 1 lap, we're hearing from race control.
I love it. All right,
this is what safety car drivers live for, when you're told by race control to get a move on. Big slide going through the International Horseshoe by, I think that was Alex Bachura, trying to get some heat into his tyres.
Worked his way up to 13th so far in this race. Still a bit more to go for Alex, the dentist.
So coming to the restart, it'll be Tyler Gonzalez, yesterday's winner, from Jared Thomas, from Connor Zilic. Then it's Celine Roland, Aaron Johnson, Sam Paley, who wants some big money to put into the pot for his race fund for St. Pete's the next 2 rounds. Then Glenn McGee, the best of the rookies, is our shootout winner, Nate Cicero. Max Opalski in 9th, 10th, Gresham Wagner. Jonathan Nerdhoff is the second of the rookies. Woody Hyman, Bachura in 13th, Dirks Atwater, McIntosh, Palermo for the top 17, and the top 20 made up by rookies. Stephen Clemens, Zane Hodgson and James Hayosh. Hannah Zellers just outside the 20 at 21. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. This has been a really good lap by the safety car.
Yeah.
Fastest lap. We don't have a transponder. We need a transponder on the safety car.
Come on, guys, please. Yeah. Jonathan Applegate, can we please make that happen? Oh, no, because then he would stay out there and just keep racing, John. That's why they don't do it.
Safety car is in the middle lane. We'll pull off to the right. We're going to have just under a minute and 40 seconds to go. Should be the white flag then.
Green
this
and
time
white.
Around. Green, white, checker. How appropriate at Daytona International Speedway. Green and white are waving. And a great restart by Tyler Gonzalez. The lead pair has pulled away. Jared Thomas, last year's champion, is right on his tailpipes at the moment. Round the outside, that is the number 87 of Celine Roland, goes really deep into turn 1. Makes up, I think, 1 position.
Oh,
who's the white car pulling out? It's Glenn McGee. Glenn McGee's had a great restart in the iRacing car. Copeland Motorsport round the outside as well. That's the number 5 of Gresham Wagner. halfway through the infield.
And Gresham Wagner with a fantastic restart, trying to go around the outside of everyone. Connor Zilic tried to follow him through, could not get it done. He's now dropped out of this pack for the win. For now, we still have, 2.5 miles left of the Speedway to go. Glenn McGee with Gresham Wagner on the outside, holding him off for now.
Ask you this question yesterday, I'll ask again. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be Tyler Gonzalez and Jared Thomas in first and second? Or would you like to be Sam Paley, Glenn McGee, even Nate Cicero, 6th, 7th and 8th position in the line?
Celine Roland is my answer right now. You're ahead of the rest, but you're still with somebody ahead of you to push and move out of the way when you need to be. 3
groups of 2. Do not think this is over. Coming through Speedway turn 2. Final lap of race 2 of the 2023 season for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup, presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. The 2 leaders know they've got to be locked together to have a chance here.
But they're not allowed to do that through the banking, and they just did, John.
Side by side, 2 pairs of 2 in 3rd place on down, and there's a sideways moment, and that's Sam Paley going for a spin. He's going to lose the opportunity for cash, and he's broken the left front suspension on the last lap. That's possibly his chance of racing at St. Pete's. Just going down the tubes. The leading pair then seem to have a decent gap behind the people. Had to check up.
Jared Thomas.
Thomas round the outside, it's between these 2. Gonzalez might get a secondary draft here as they come onto the tri-oval. It's going to be between Gonzalez and Thomas. Last year's champion takes the victory by 0.078 of a second. Gresham Wagner comes through the pack to 3rd and will stand on the podium ahead of Celine Roland, Max Sapolsky, Aaron Johnson. Murray Hyman came from nowhere on the restart. He was down in the late teens. Nate Cicero is the best of the rookies. Jonathan Nerdorf made up a couple of positions as well. Alex Pachura in 10th position, and a huge incident further back down the field after the checkered flag for Jean Jourdouin. He took the checkered flag.
That's Glenn McGee, John.
Excuse me, for Glenn McGee, who was right in alongside Jean Jourdouin. So I don't think he has made the checkered flag, actually.
Nope.
Watch the sideways moment for Sam Paley that took him out of it. Incident at turn 7, the Le Mans chicane on the last lap under review. But what happens to Glenn McGee further back round? The iRacing car up on the curbs, he's fine there. As Sam takes his spin and just clips the safer barrier to his left. So a big contact with the wall later in the lap. Sam Paley, no luck at all, challenging for a top 3 finish undoubtedly there, and finishes with broken front suspension.
You got to go for it, John.
Coming to the line, Jared Thomas and Tyler Gonzalez. Gonzalez timed his run yesterday perfectly, bit of side draft and then up to the high side by JTR's JT, and Jared Thomas made sure that there was not enough slipstream. Got to give Tyler Gonzalez his due. He gave it absolutely everything, went down below the yellow lines to shorten the distance to the checkered flag. It will be Jared Thomas Racing, Jared Thomas who wins it from Copeland, and Tyler Gonzalez, a first and a second, will put him in the lead of the championship, leaving Daytona International Speedway as we head to the streets of St. Pete's. Gresham Wagner, 3rd different team, Spark Performance as we saw yesterday. Celine Roland, Hickson, 4 different teams in the top 4. So Jared Thomas comes around, and the other driver who has been asked to go to impound is
Matthew
Dirks, the 76 car. Okay. Hannah Zellers, I think that should be 74, because that would be Hannah Zellers, who is the best of the female drivers.
That would make sense.
We did start 2 females. Well, top 10 finish for Jared Thomas yesterday. Gets his championship defence off to a decent start over the weekend.
Yeah, it was 9th in yesterday's race, so he did walk away with the $1,000 from yesterday, but the $6,000 he's going to get in a couple minutes will taste a whole lot nicer.
Lucky 7,000 from his first race weekend. How about Tyler Gonzalez with a first and a second?
Yeah, $11,000 for Tyler. It's a great weekend. He didn't run the full championship last year, John. He missed out on one of the race weekends, but he was still a contender, won 3 races over the course of the year. But Jared Thomas was the ultimate championship contender, and he's looking to continue that momentum back when we go to St. Pete.
If Tyler Gonzalez is picking 10 or 11 grand up every weekend, he'll be wanting to come and race, I'll tell you that. $1.2 million in total across the season, half of which is in the end of season awards, the rest going as real folding cash money prizes at the end of each race as we handed out the big checks yesterday. We'll do it again today. Jared Thomas, JTR Racing, he has claimed his first victory of the season. Remember, there has not been a defense of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. We've not even had a repeat winner. Jared Thomas will be trying to break that streak in the 2023 season. Incident, accident, plenty of entertainment. That's what we expect of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. We'll stay in Florida from Daytona International Speedway to the streets of St. Pete. Join Shea Adam and me, John Hindhaugh, for the next 2 rounds of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup.
This program is a Radio Show Limited production. For more, check imsaradio.com and subscribe to IMSA Radio wherever you get your podcasts.